The wait was finally over as Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus Du Plessis stepped into the octagon for one of the year's most talked about fights, delivering a showdown fans had been eagerly waiting to see unfold.
What are you feeling right now, my friend?
I like normal fights. I like to be in the cage more than outside, so it was fun. Last minute, get some punches. Be happy.
There is a new UFC middleweight champion. His name, Khamzat Chimaev. One of the most dominant performances that we've ever seen in a UFC title fight ever. He beats Dricus Du Plessis.
I'm not making it up! I'm not making it up! I'm not making this shit up! They avoid combat at all costs! You are a human! Get out of this combat sport! Chimaev landed a shot that looked like it could have hurt! Chimaev landed a punch that maybe could have caused damage to his opponent. He did it again! That actually might have hurt Dricus! There might be a chance that Dricus winced at that shot. What are we doing, dude? We can't put this on Paramount! We can't put this on Paramount! Cancel the deal!
Dricus gets on top. Dricus is in mount! Dricus is in mount! Oh my god! No! Dricus has to choke? No. Dude, Dricus, do something, brother. You got 10 seconds left. So Dricus tends to use explosive leg, heels to the floor, sit-up torso kind of get-ups. These require a lot of energy and they create a lot of motion, and it's a big problem. But if I'm Dricus, I'm just hanging out. Yeah, all right, so Khamzat Chimaev is your new champion. Bro, I have so much to say on the post-fight show. I have so much to say about that performance. I have so much to say about that.
Big kick from Dricus! Chimaev shoots in and gets it. It's over, chat. He got the body lock again. He avoided combat again. Back to his position against the cage, holding another man up against the cage and knee in the thigh. Oh no, dude. What's Chimaev? Dude, 5 seconds left. Anything could happen. No, nothing happened because it's a f***ing Chimaev fight.
That dominance was insane by Khamzat. The boogeyman becomes the champion.
Yeah. 50-44 on all three judges' scorecards. It goes the distance. And the best way to describe this fight, in my opinion, was domination. Absolute, total domination. Just listen very quickly to some of these numbers here. Khamzat Chimaev landed 510 strikes, according to ESPN's Fight Center. 510 strikes in this 5-round fight.
Deze dag naar overwakken, help me helpen. Essa dúvida que eu do meio da área. Engale a área da gente está ali, engale a área. Aí, tá ganhando o tipo ali. Até a rua de Luma cansa uma questão. I think that alone, hopeless, yeah, well.
I get like 2 more.
Chega a rua de lá, cego. Vai vir mais me dar igual uma de.
Do you still want to turn around and fight in Abu Dhabi?
We'll see what they say. I'm ready always, so no injuries.
Did you see before this fight that being the possible way it was going to play out?
No. The lead up to this fight, I said, I bet the main event is the fight of the night. Didn't see that coming, but not shocked either. I mean, you go in and dominate the way that he dominated. If you can do it the first round, more than likely you're going to do it the second and throughout the rest of the fight.
Before the fight, Tim Welch had admitted he couldn't settle on a clear pick for the matchup, going back and forth as he weighed each fighter's strengths and weaknesses. Welch had noted that Dricus had shown improvements in training and had the size and strength to make things difficult, but still predicted that Chimaev would secure an early takedown.
DDP vs.
Dude,
KC.
I keep going back and forth with this fight because it's like you go back. Yes, it was a while ago, but guys like Darren Till are taking down Dricus.
What year was that? 5 years ago?
Probably,
6 years ago?
Probably.
Like, dude, you know how good my grappling's got.
Yeah, Dricus was getting taken down by Darren Till, all those guys, but I guess the way he's been training is pretty crazy. I mean, he's got a big neck, he's got big traps. Khamzat is taking him down in that first round 110%.
Probably in the first 15 milliseconds.
From there, Welch had questioned whether Dricus could defend once Chimaev locked in his grip, warning that if Khamzat got control under the chin, it could spell the end. He had reflected on Usman's performance against Chimaev, suggesting that experience in longer fights had played a big role, and admitted his rooting interest leaned toward both men for different reasons.
Can he defend him off his neck? Can if Khamzat gets his hands attached underneath Dricus' nose, it's probably going to be over.
It was 2022. Not that long ago, huh?
Yeah, it's like, fuck, dude. He's got to survive. He's got to survive. Remember, Usman was on his way to beating Khamzat if he had 2 more rounds.
Allegedly.
I mean, he was, dude.
Khamzat
was puckering the fuck out.
Puckered too.
But
Short
Usman's used to those 5 rounds.
Yeah.
He's been in 5-round wars before. If I had to put money on it, God, I want Dricus to win. For excitement wise, I want Khamzat to win. But I'm worried if Khamzat wins, he ain't fighting again.
As the debate heated up, Georges St. Pierre had analyzed the matchup by focusing on the contrasting strengths of both men. He had explained that Chimaev's explosive starts often put opponents in trouble early, while Du Plessis had a reputation for thriving in longer, grueling fights. St. Pierre had suggested that the outcome could largely depend on whether the bout ended quickly or went the distance.
Look, I think if it's an early stoppage, it has more chance to favor Chimaev because he's a very strong starter. But Dricus Du Plessis is a very good finisher. He's very good at the end in the deep waters, and he's very athletic. So if it goes later in a decision, it might go the other way. So it could go both sides.
I'm putting your feet to the fire, and I'll pick one.
And it's hard for me. I can't.
Building on that, George shared his view on how emotion sometimes causes fighters to waste energy early in the fight. He praised both athletes and said one was often underrated, performing better than most people expected. He explained that either fighter could win because of their skills, and that several outcomes were possible based on what could happen in the fight.
Could be because emotion sometimes makes you spend too much energy. But on the other side, it's true, but Dricus Du Plessis, I think he's very underrated. He's much better than what people give him credit for. So it could go both sides. You know, Chimaev can go through, especially if he catch him with his very good inverted katagatame early on in the round. If he put him down and in a scramble when Dricus Du Plessis tried to stand up, he got caught in
George then explained how the fight might have changed later, with one fighter possibly wearing down the other and gaining control in the later rounds. He complimented both in their striking power, noting that each one could have knocked out the other.
Inverted katagatame, I can see that happen, but I can also see Dricus wearing down Chimaev and surviving, and in the later round winning the fight. So both scenarios are possible.
Tell me what you think of DDP's striking style.
He's very good, very, very good, and he hits very hard. Chimaev too. Chimaev is a very good striker, so they both can knock each other out. So they both have power, and yeah, it's gonna be interesting. That's the most interesting fights is when you don't know what's gonna happen.
Breaking down the fight, Brennan Schwab highlighted Dricus Du Plessis' toughness, calling him one of the toughest fighters to ever compete in the octagon. He considered how Khamzat Chimaev might come out aggressively, using his high-pressure style to dominate early. Schwab pictured Chimaev controlling the first 2 rounds, applying constant pressure while Du Plessis would show resilience by repeatedly getting back up despite being taken down.
DDP, if he's taught us anything, you don't bet against DDP. To me, he's top 5 toughest dudes ever to grace that octagon. Another question is, let's say Khamzat comes out like a fucking banshee, which I expect him to. Let's say he comes out with that fucking Chechnyan demon in him, and he's shooting and he's doing that and he's having success and he's even winning the first 2 rounds. But DDP's not going away. I think I could see it the first 2 rounds. Khamzat's dominating. Like DDP's getting up and he's getting back to his feet, but he's getting taken down. Khamzat's getting his back, but he's not finishing him. And the round's going on. And the round's going on. And Khamzat's having success, and he's even won those first 2.
Schwab then speculated about the later rounds, suggesting that fatigue might slow Chimaev down, allowing Du Plessis to defend takedowns better and start landing effective strikes. He acknowledged that Chimaev's endurance in deep waters was untested compared to Du Plessis' strength and durability. Schwab admitted uncertainty, but said if he had to wager, he would expect this scenario, unless Chimaev showed up as a once-in-a-generation talent and finished the fight early.
What happened in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th? When Khamzat's getting a little tired. And DDP still just defend the takedown. And then eventually, Khamzat slows down enough where DDP starts to land. He's a big dude. And Khamzat hasn't been in those deep, deep waters. Then what? If I had to bet on it, I'd probably bet it goes like that. Or am I completely off? And Khamzat is a once-in-fucking-generational talent, and he annihilates him in the first round. And DDP can't handle that onslaught, that fucking Chechnyan demon, and he just makes a mistake, and Khamzat gets...
Furthermore, Michael Venom Page had expressed honest doubts about Dricus Du Plessis' rise in MMA. While he respected both fighters as top competitors, MVP admitted he struggled to understand how Du Plessis had achieved so much. He had compared Du Plessis' style to the unpredictable striking of less experienced fighters, wild punches and kicks that somehow connected despite lacking traditional technique. MVP had also said that even though Du Plessis' style looked messy, he knew how to keep winning. MVP admired how tough and smart Du Plessis was in fights. He said if Du Plessis beat Chimaev, he would stop doubting him and never bet against him again because of how strong and determined Du Plessis was.
It's so difficult simply because I think, okay, they're both titans in their own right. I just don't get why Du Plessis has achieved so much, because and again I say it sounds like I keep saying it. I keep saying it, and I feel ultra disrespectful, and I don't mean to be. I'm just trying to be honest with how my feelings on when I watch him. He seems like, and I used an example earlier on, which I feel is fitting, and as you as a fighter will understand.
In addition, on the Brady Bags show, analysts had shared that they were starting to believe more in Dricus Du Plessis. Though Khamzat Chimaev was very skilled, many didn't fully see how good Du Plessis was. One analyst said some of Chimaev's past fighters were closer than people realized, pointing out that certain opponents might have won against him.
I'm buying into the DDP hype a little bit. As good as we know Khamzat is, I think people truly are not acknowledging how good DDP may be.
Yep.
And I don't know. Here's another thing about Khamzat, and this is strictly all facts. Like I said, when you really look at it, really look at it, because even what they was like, he ran through everybody, never looked. Like, you gotta remember, I watched the Gilbert Burns fight. That's a really close fight in my opinion. That I actually, even though I was betting on it, so I probably was a little emotional, I thought Gilbert might have won.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
You look at the Kamaru fight, it's the same
2 more
thing.
rounds.
Later on the Brady Bags show, the discussion had focused on Chimaev's other fights. Analysts noted some bouts could have had different outcomes with a few extra rounds. They also questioned whether Chimaev's physical strength would be enough against Du Plessis, who had gained size and strength before the fight, making the matchup more challenging than expected.
It's the same
2 more
thing.
rounds, it would have been...
Now, the Kamaru one, that was different.
2 more rounds, it would have been a little... Could have been different.
Robert Whitaker, he 100% smashed.
Yeah.
Kevin Holland, weird situation. Kevin had no business fighting Khamzat. Wasn't prepared to do it. He saved that card, right? Gilbert Burns, Jack Manson Wrestling, Jangling, come on.
Yeah. So,
but after saying all that, I'm just saying, do we
could Khamzat go out there and absolutely steamroll DDP?
Yes.
Is it there for DDP to make this a dogfight?
Towards the end of the Brady Bags show, analysts had highlighted Du Plessis' toughness and confidence as key to his success. They described how he kept getting back up after takedowns and stayed aggressive throughout. Confidence was noted as an important factor that many fighters lack.
Dogfight and get up and keep fucking, and like every time he gets up, he's going to get up, and as soon as they disengage, he's going to be right on them, punching them, getting them tired, getting back up, like
button mashing.
DDP has that, like we were saying, that JDM shit with the scramble.
Yeah,
he's going to scramble. He's going to get up. He's always going to.
And he's going to be. And Khamzat, I think, is usually always a lot more physical than all these guys. I don't know if he's going to be more physical than DDP. DDP was saying he's walking around like outside camp 230. He's thick, he's thick, dog.
Yeah,
and he's 6'1", so he's not like he's big, bro.
And another underrated thing is confidence.
Yeah, he's confident.
It's something that you don't like. Everybody probably thinks everybody in UFC is confident.
Nah,
that's not how it works. Yeah. Confidence is something that, like, I don't know if it could be taught or something you just gain.
No, his confidence pisses me off. That's how good. That's how much confidence he has.
Furthermore, Demetrius Johnson had reflected on Dricus Du Plessis' unique fighting style during the discussion. He explained how most fighters develop a certain rhythm and cadence that opponents can learn to anticipate. However, Du Plessis had crafted an unorthodox approach, a kind of controlled chaos that made him difficult to predict and allowed him to overcome top-level fighters like Israel Adesanya and Robert Whittaker.
Well, I find it fascinating because I agree with you, right? And I feel like, you know, when me and you train, we both have a certain rhythm. We have a cadence. It's like, okay, this is a traditional cadence. I've seen this my whole entire life. So you can adapt to it a lot quicker. But when you have that person, like you said, who's just button mashing, you know, in a technical, not a technical way, but he knows what he's doing, but he's button mashing. I can't be successful if I fought the way DDP fought, right? He's the only person who can fight that way and be able to beat guys like Izzy, Robert Whittaker. I mean, the list just goes on to the guys he's beaten because he's developed that style. And it's funny because I feel that's what gives him that special powers, right? Where, you know, when you look at Khamzat, he's pretty much, he fucking wrestles, and if he doesn't win that first clash.
Additionally, Johnny Walker had shared his thoughts on the matchup, expressing strong confidence in Khamzat Chimaev's abilities. He highlighted Khamzat as a unique and powerful fighter with impressive technical skills. While acknowledging that Dricus Du Plessis was also a skilled competitor, Walker believed Chimaev had the edge and was simply a better, more unpredictable fighter.
I believe Khamzat gonna finish him. Khamzat he's the one, you know. The boy is very strong, very technical, and good what he does, you know. I know Dricus is good as well, but I believe Chimaev it's better, bro. He's a weird guy, bro. He's good, you know.
Furthermore, Drucker Close had given his opinion on how the fight might play out. He thought that if the match went beyond 2 rounds, Dricus Du Plessis would likely come out on top. However, he had also believed that Khamzat Chimaev could win quickly within the first couple of rounds. Overall, Close leaned slightly toward Du Plessis as the probable winner.
If it goes past 2 rounds, I think DDP is going to win. But, you know, anything, you know, 1 to 2 rounds, Khamzat.
What do you think's more likely?
I could see DDP winning.
Moving on, Julius Walker had shared his perspective on the fight, explaining that many fans seem to be underestimating Dricus Du Plessis. He pointed out that Du Plessis was not only a skilled grappler, but also had unusual raw strength that could cause problems for opponents. Walker believed this combination could make the matchup against Khamzat Chimaev far more competitive than people expected.
Dude, so I feel like a lot of people are kind of looking past DDP here. But DDP's a really damn good grappler, man, and he's got that goofy strength. So I could actually see Dricus making that a really interesting fight. And I think one of the most underrated aspects that Dricus has is his cardio. I understand that his nose used to be messed up, so he was always breathing through his mouth. But there's almost never been a fight where he hasn't been able to pick it up in the later rounds on guys.
Walker continued by explaining how Du Plessis often performed strongly in the later round. He mentioned that Chimaev had never competed in a 5-round fight and that, in his opinion, Chimaev tended to slow down as fights progressed. This, he argued, could give Du Plessis the edge if he could survive the early storm.
Guys. So I think Khamzat's never fought 5 rounds. I don't believe he's ever fought more than 3, and I don't know if he ever won any of the 3rd rounds in those fights, because the Gilbert Burns fight, you know, Gilbert looked really good in round 3, and the Usman fight, usually when his fights go past the 1st round, the other guys kind of pick it up in the later rounds, so honestly, if I had to make a pick, I would take Dricus in that fight to kind of take over after the first. I think Dricus can survive that first round.
Meanwhile, before giving his breakdown, Alexander Volkanovski said that the fight had looked even on paper. He mentioned he'd often supported underdogs and had leaned toward Du Plessis for that reason. Volkanovski believed later rounds might have troubled Chimaev, which many fans had also thought. His view was shaped by past performances and how styles had matched up.
Really sort of thoughts on those numbers. I think it should be pretty even numbers. You got the underdog here. I'm probably going to say I might be leading to an underdog here because he's the underdog. You know, I like an underdog. And I think we might see problems in them later rounds. And I think that's obvious. It's not like I'm just, oh, where did this come from? A lot of people are going to be thinking this. But I'm going to tell you how good Chimaev is. I don't think people know he's a good grappler and be like, oh, yeah, he's cool. But when it comes to MMA, grappling, wrestling, I could say he would probably be, if you had one round to prove yourself.
And Volkanovski praised Chimaev's grappling, saying people hadn't fully understood his elite skills. He explained that in a one-round fight, Chimaev would have been dominant. Volkanovski remembered watching him train against an Olympic gold medalist in wrestling and hold his own. He believed that moment had shown Chimaev's true level, giving him respect for his abilities regardless of the fight outcome.
Prove yourself. One round to prove yourself. Chimaev. Hands down. I've got Chimaev. You know, you got Islam's and all that. 5 rounds, you know, I think his style suits better for the longer, you know, a 25 minutes or, you know, a 15 minutes. But one 5-minute round, if you had to show me something, no one can show me better than Chimaev. Their skills. I would put Chimaev right up there. I remember watching him do some wrestling with an Olympic wrestler. This guy just won the Olympics. It was like a heavyweight wrestler, the Olympics, just won a gold medal. And it was not long after. So you know he's in incredible nick. And they're training together, and he was sort of holding his own. And you're like going, oh, yeah. Nah, I don't think you understand.
Before giving his prediction, Stephan Barnhill had explained that the fight would be intense from the start, with Chimaev likely pushing a fast pace early. He felt Du Plessis had the toughness and skill to survive those opening rounds. Barnhill believed that once the initial storm had passed, Du Plessis could use his timing, defense, and power to turn the fight in his favor.
Yes, Dricus is going to get taken down. Yes, Khamzat's going to have control time where he lands big shots. We're going to be nervous if we're cheering for Dricus at any point in this fight. But I think he's tough enough and he's got the skill to weather the storm that's going to be Khamzat in those early rounds. And I really believe that Dricus Du Plessis is going to systematically break down Khamzat. It's going to start at around minute 7 or 8, so halfway through the second round. He's going to start to find the rhythm, find the timing. He's going to either have defended a couple of takedowns or have been taken down and gotten himself back up to his feet. And then he's going to start to work his offensive with those big body shots, those big kicks, those big punches. And that's going to open up stuff over the top. I like Dricus Du Plessis by 4th or 5th round technical knockout, and still the man from South Africa is your champion come Sunday morning.
So not only. Furthermore, Nick Barnhill had listened to Stephan Barnhill's breakdown and admitted it was interesting. He pointed out that fights often went the opposite way of expectations. Nick reflected on how Du Plessis had proven him wrong before, but also noted that he had never picked against Chimaev. This set the stage for him to confidently give his pick for the fight.
And just when you think something is going to go the way it goes the opposite way. I like your prediction about Dricus Du Plessis. I have never picked Dricus Du Plessis to win a fight in the UFC. He has proven me wrong every time, made me eat my words, but at the same time, I've never picked against Khamzat Chimaev. And for this fight on August 16th in Chicago, UFC 319, I am not picking against Khamzat Chimaev. I think he's going to go out there. He's going to be in his rhythm. He's going to take charge of the octagon, control it. I don't think he finds the submission in the first round. I think Dricus is going to be a handful for him to deal with, but I think we see him reshoot and find his success on the ground in round 2. We see a second round submission victory for Khamzat Chimaev. I'll even put a cherry on top. It's going to be a rear naked choke.
How did you see the fight, and what were your predictions? Who was your favorite fighter? We'd love to hear your thoughts, so let us know in the comment section below and subscribe for more content like this.